Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video where I talk about levels and whether or not I like them. And today's video topic is about good level remakes. When a level tries to remake another level to try and potentially make it better, and the remake actually succeeds on what it's trying to achieve, and in some cases, even come out a lot better than the original. Now here's the thing about making remakes. It is ridiculously hard to get it right sometimes. So when someone actually managed to make a good and faithful remake, it is genuinely impressive, and I have a lot of respect to the creators that do so. And once again, these are purely my opinion. And if you don't agree with the picks I made, then more power to you. And with that out of the way, let's start the video starting with Grief is such a good level, man, let me tell you. Well, okay, I will say that remaking an old, barely decorated, impossible level doesn't seem like a hard task to do. But even then, this is still an incredibly well-made remake. The thing that I love the most about Grief is its gameplay and its difficulty. Now, obviously, no human being is able to do Old Slaughterhouse gameplay. I mean, just look at it. But Grief's semi-impossible top 1 gameplay perfectly captures the impossible feeling that Old Slaughterhouse had. And not only that, the gameplay is actually pretty faithful to Old Slaughterhouse despite being heavily nerfed. Almost everything that made Old Slaughterhouse as iconic as it is back in the remake. The excruciating wave, the straight fly, even some of the cube gameplay is back. The only one that's not included is the cube spam, but that's sort of understandable. Now, let's talk about the decoration. I will say that being a remake to the original Slaughterhouse is a big advantage for Grief. Mainly because Old Slaughterhouse was not the best decorated level, and well, who am I kidding? It has barely any decoration, so really they can do whatever they want with it and it'll be good regardless. But they went all out with this decoration. Everything is just so detailed. It went from under-decorated to over-decorated. It is amazing. The atmosphere is so intimidating. It was such a genius decision to make the beginning part so dark to try to emulate the original, while also having this claustrophobic atmosphere. The effects are so flashy and so all over your face. It's amazing. The art is just so incredibly well drawn. Even if some of the art are kinda weird to place in this level, like what's with the castle and the 3-headed snake, but it is just so detailed and so amazing that I kinda just ignored. It's just that good. And the best part of Grief, undoubtedly, is keeping the funny face that was in the original. See, now that's how you know that they know what's up. So yeah, Grief is an incredible remake in my eyes. Dark Odyssey is the definition of a remake that we didn't know we needed but got it anyways. It's also an example of a remake that's good because it's made by the original creator who understands what makes the original special. Now, Dark Travel by no means is a terrible level. In fact, it's an amazing level. But somehow in some way, Dark Odyssey made it feel like something's missing in Dark Travel. Everything about Dark Travel is just expanded in Dark Odyssey. It just feels so fleshed out compared to Dark Travel. I mean, it's made 4 years later, so it makes sense, and it genuinely makes Dark Travel look a bit dated. From this point on, I'm gonna highlight some parts that stood out from me. From the start, you can already see the changes with a more detailed windmill, and the block design is more custom made, and the glitch effect is a lot better executed. The parts after that is a lot cooler too, especially the drop where its gimmick on the original is expanded on a bit more. But then we get to the wooden part and oh my god, it is so good. It is so much atmospheric compared to the original where it feels a bit cartoonish. Not that that's a bad thing, but the one in the remake just fits so much better. The blood red part is so good. Starting with an amazing glitch effect, the blood red part just feels so much more scary and intimidating compared to the original. And despite you being able to see more in the remake, it feels a lot more claustrophobic than the original due to the structuring. The first duel, I will say I kinda prefer the original, mainly because I really like the saws in the background, and removing them in exchange for a color changing effect feels sort of odd to me. But then after that, the space part is just it's just so good, it's so much better. The intro to the next duel did not need to go as hard, and the next duel goes so much harder. Oh my god, it is such an eye candy compared to the original. The changing styles part that has callbacks to some levels is just, it's just so well executed. And the ending is just so impactful. It hits so hard. The fact that it's slow and it's slowly fading to black is, it's one of the best endings to a Geometry Dash level. This level turned an already great level to a near masterpiece. But I will say that, as said before, I think most of its advantage for this remake being good is because it's made by the same creator, because the creator knows what's good about the level. Not that it brings the level down, but it is something to note. If you haven't checked out Dark Odyssey, I highly suggest you do. This may be a controversial pick to some of you, and Freedom 19 is technically labeled as a demake rather than a remake, but call it a demake or a remake or whatever, I still love this level, and I think it's still a good remake, and I do have some points to justify this. Here's the thing, I don't think it's better than Freedom 08. Now hold on, I know it seems a bit weird for me to say that, but let me make a statement. In my opinion, a good remake does not need to be better than the original. In this case, if you have a concept for a level or a remake and execute it very well, then I consider it a good level or remake. And in my opinion, Freedom 19 does its concept of being a 1.9 remake of Freedom 08 extremely well. For being a 1.9 level, I did not expect for it to be as detailed as it is. It doesn't even feel like a typical 1.9 level at times. And despite it being made in 1.9 and the original being made in 2.1, Freedom 19 still feels like Freedom 08. You can still feel the insane, joyful, and magical feeling that was present in Freedom 08 despite being one speed change slower. And there are some factors where some may argue that Freedom 19 is better. First off, the level looks cleaner. This has always been my favorite thing when it comes to an extremely well made 1.9 style level for me. Most of the times they're just so clean looking. An example besides Freedom 19 is Sync by Odyssey, one of my personal favorites with the 1.9 style. Second off, some parts just genuinely looks better than Freedom 08. Let's run through my personal favorite. The first duel in my opinion looks a lot cooler in Freedom 19. This is mainly because Metal Face's decoration has always been a hit or miss for me. Another one that's cooler for me are Lysaga and C034's part. The one in Freedom 08 is just too blindingly bright for me. The first half of the second drop is just it's just so much prettier to look at. The Heaven part, my god, this one goes so hard for no reason. You're telling me this was made in 1.9's very strict limitations? Nah, I refuse to believe it. This part is just too good. And finally, I think the end screen looks a lot cooler. The one in Freedom 08 is fine, but it looks kinda boring at times. But the one in Freedom 19 looks so cool with how it's presented, though I do miss the funny guy in Freedom 08. Once again, I don't think Freedom 19 is better than Freedom 08. There's just a lot of things in Freedom 08 that I like better in Freedom 19. But the thing is, I think they're both are of equal quality, and that's personally a win in my book. Oh boy, Edge of Destiny. There are a lot of factors in Edge of Destiny that makes this remake as good as it is. And one of those factors, in fact one of the strongest factors in my opinion, is the difficulty. Let me give you a brief history lesson on Blade of Justice. One of the biggest controversies regarding Blade of Justice is the difficulty. This level was supposed to be or near Bloodlust difficulty. Mind you, Bloodlust wasn't even verified yet, so hearing this was insane. But after the verifiers, yes, verifiers as in plural, didn't manage to beat it, Manix decided to tell the latest verifier at the time, Rico LP, to just straight up nerf it as much as he wants, infamously saying, "It's nerf or nothing." And so the level ended up being top 23, and while by no means do I think it's that bad, people were very disappointed. Notably Wushi, who beat it after just 2 hours of the level being uploaded, and Sonic beating it in only 551 attempts and even called it not challenging. And so Edge of Destiny being a remake of unnerfed and even buffed Blade of Justice, it actually does Blade of Justice, well, justice. Sure, it's made like 6 years later, but I still think it's a worthy addition to Blade of Justice's legacy. But besides that, this level looks so cool. Listen, I love how Blade of Justice looks. It's one of my favorite levels of all time. But god damn, Edge of Destiny just goes full on out with how it's decorated. The futuristic space theme is just amplified to the max, and with the combined efforts of the goats of the new era, you get a genuine masterpiece and a modern classic. Every part is just such a treat to the eyes. All of the block designs are just so detailed and cool, it's honestly ahead of its time. The effects, ooh, it is immaculate. The art is amazing and very detailed. You can really tell that they put their whole asses into this. But the best part are the animations. They are just amazing, let me tell you. They did not need to go this hard, but they just went and made one of the best remakes ever. And the only problem I have with the level is that nowadays, the name can be kinda funny. And so yeah, that's why I think that Edge of Destiny is deserving of its title as one of the best remakes ever. So, that's all I have for you all today. Did you agree or disagree with my opinions? Maybe there's also a level that you feel should be in this video. Leave your suggestions in the comments and maybe I'll include it if I ever make a sequel to this video. And also, check out my other stuff in my other social media accounts. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you all later. Bye bye.